Welcome students. So in our today's class we are going to read a very interesting story by Ruskin Bond. I feel very happy to record this video today on 19th of May because today is the birthday of Ruskin Bond. Today is his 87th birthday. Okay, he was quite famous worldwide because of his stories about jungles, Indian uh, jungles, tigers, and animals. Okay, so he was world famous because of his short stories and short novels. So in our today's story, we'll encounter a tiger and we'll see how our writer is trapped by the tiger. Okay, so the name of the story is Trapped by a Tiger. So let us begin. I grew up at a time when hunting wild animals was a pastime. So the writer here is saying that he grew up at a time when hunting was a time pass. Okay, it was a kind of hobby. It was supposed to prove how strong you were. So it was a kind of the means of proving your strength, how strong you are. But from the beginning, I hated the so called sports of king. So here, our writer is saying that he hated hunting. Sports of king. Why sports of king? In the ancient era, kings used to go to hunting. Okay, so it was kind of sports for them, killing innocent animals for their fun. So our writer is here saying that he hated the sports so called sports of the king. When I was 12, one of my uncle along with his friends took me on a weekend shikar in the forest near Dera, a small North Indian town. So when he was 12 years old, his uncles along with his friend took the author with them for a weekend shikar. What is the meaning of the word shikar? Shikar means hunting in the forest near Dera. Dera means Dehradun, a small North Indian town. These forests were full of tigers. Okay, so the forests were full of tigers, wild elephants, and various species of deer. Okay, the hunters decided to stay at a small forest rest house in the heart of the jungle. So they went for a hunting and they decided to stay at a small forest rest house in the heart of the jungle. From there, they set out early every morning to the forest, returning late in the afternoon. So they stayed there and they used to go to hunting early in the morning every day and used to return late in the afternoon. I had bought a couple of books along. So our author has brought he took couple of books along with him. They did not ever ask me to join them. So the writer is here saying that the boy is saying that the hunting party didn't ask him to join them, and I was grateful for that. And he was feeling grateful. He was feeling like thanking them for that. Because why? Because he hated hunting. They left me with sandwiches and a thermos of tea. So they left the author with sandwiches and a thermos full of tea. I was also told by my uncle not to leave the rest house. So the poet was told not to leave the rest house. In case I needed anything, he told me to go to the caretaker. What is the meaning of the word caretaker? Here it is given. A caretaker is a person who takes care of buildings or farmlands. Okay. So the poet was told not to go to the jungle alone, and if in case he needs something, he was asked to go to the caretaker, who lived in a hut at the other end of the clearing. So he lived in a nearby hut. It's perfectly safe here, said Uncle Jim. So Right now, we came to know the name of the uncle, Uncle Jim. It was perfectly safe here. Just don't go into the forest on your own. So, the author was advised not to go to the jungle on his own. Otherwise, it is perfectly safe there to stay in that rest house. I was quite happy to see the hunting party march off. Now, our author is saying that I was quite happy to see the hunting party is marching off. What is the meaning of marching off? It is a phrasal verb. The meaning is given here to walk away. So, our writer was happy to see that the hunting party was marching off. I settled into an armchair on the veranda and read a little. So he sat in, as you can see here, he sat into a armchair in the veranda, a balcony kind of sitting, and he read a book, ate a sandwich, and then fell asleep in the hot April sunshine. And the poet and our author fell asleep. I must have slept for 10 or 15 minutes. So he is now saying that I must have slept for 10 to 15 minutes, a quick nap. I woke up with a strong animal smell in the air, and suddenly the author woke up with a strong animal smell in the air. I looked up. He was looking here and there. A monstrous tiger was standing some 30 to 40 meters away and looking directly at me. So he saw that a monstrous tiger was standing nearby him, and he was directly looking at the boy. I could hear my heart thumping very loudly. So now the poet could hear his heart beating very loudly. The tiger was silent and was watching me. So the tiger was silently watching the writer. I got out of my chair very quietly. Now the author is saying that he got out of his chair quietly, dashed into the living room. He rushed into the living room, shut the front door and locked it. I then went to the nearest window and looked out, and he went to the window to see the tiger. The tiger had walked up a few steps, so now the tiger was closer. Raising its head, it sniffed the air, so it was sniffing the air. Where was the forest guard? Now our writer, the boy, is thinking that where was the forest guard? Where were Uncle Jim and the great hunters? All of these things are going into the mind of our writer, mind of that 12 years old boy. Just then I realized that I was standing out of an open window, that I was staring out of an open window. Right then the author realized that he was staring out of an open window. I shut it quite quickly. The tiger had turned away from the veranda and was circling the house. The tiger was turned away from the veranda and he was now circling the entire rest house. Although confused and frightened, I remembered that the back door of the bathrooms was open. Though the author was confused and frightened, he was trembling with fear, but he remembered that the back doors of the bathroom was open. I rushed and tumbled into one of the bedrooms, shut the door with a bang. So he shut the door with force. The noise startled the tiger. So the noise that the bang made shocked the tiger, and he let out his angry roar, and the tiger roared angrily. I raced to the second bedroom and into the bathroom and locked the door. So now he ran to the second bedroom and into the bathroom and locked the door. I was trembling as I walked to the bedroom and sat down on the bed. The author was trembling with fear. He was shaking with fear. When I looked around, I noticed that the bedroom's large window without bars was half open. Now the boy is seeing that the bedroom in which he was sitting, that bedroom's a big large window was open and it has no bars. Okay, so the tiger could easily came in into enter the house through that open window. I went up to it and peeped over the ceiling, and he went up and he was peeping over the tiger. The tiger was in the backyard, much closer to the house. Now the tiger was nearer. I could smell it. The author, the boy could smell it. Softly, I closed the window and locked it. He closed the window and locked it. I returned to the living room and thought I was safe. And he returned to the living room, and now, after closing all the doors and windows, he is thinking that he was safe. Just then, there was a heavy thump on the front door, followed by an angry snarl. But right then, when the boy was thinking that he was safe now, he could hear the thumping sound on the front door with angry roaring sound of the tiger. I could hear the beast's claws banging against the wooden door. I leaped to the closed window and put my face to the glass and was able to see a portion of the terrible creature. Okay, so for today's video, I am stopping here. In our next class, we will do the rest portion. Okay, bye bye students.